To begin, make a sketch of the painting. You can either trace the cat onto a sheet of paper using your computer monitor or draw it freehand. Once the sketch is ready, you can start painting the sky and the background. For the sky, mix light blue with white so the color is very subtle. For the distant forest, use ultramarine with a touch of chromium oxide green and a little white. I use ultramarine because it works beautifully with water and is also perfect for the nearest shadows. The entire background, including the river, is painted using atmospheric perspective, so I don't add much detail. For the landscape leading up to the river, I use ultramarine, chromium oxide green, white, a little vermilion to create the trees, as well as some yellow and white. To make brown, simply mix ultramarine and vermilion. Then use a thin brush to paint the small branches. That's the whole secret behind this background. Once all the layers are completely dry, you can lightly glaze the entire background with a dry round brush and a small amount of ultramarine to make the distance appear even cooler. Once the background is finished, move on to the foreground. This is where you can really bring out the vibrant colors and fine details. We'll work from right to left. For the grass, I use chromium oxide green mixed with yellow and a little white. For the shadow beneath the cat, I add ultramarine and a touch of violet so that the grass contains more than one shade of green. All that's left is to add the fine details to the grass. Around the tree, make the colors even darker, as this is one of the darkest areas in the landscape. Paint the tree using the same approach, but add a little ochre to the trunk to create highlights. Remember to build your painting in layers. At this point, you could say the easiest part is finished, and now it's time for the most challenging one. Let's move on to the cat. I started with the tail and gradually worked toward the head. This helps save energy for the more difficult parts and prevents fatigue. My advice is to draw the cat's eyes, nose, and mouth accurately with a pencil before you start painting. It's much easier to get them right from the beginning than to repaint the entire face, as I had to do. For the cat, you'll need ochre, yellow, white, ultramarine, violet, chromium oxide green, and vermilion. It may sound complicated, but you can absolutely do it. To mix brown, I combine ultramarine and vermilion. If I need a darker shade, I simply add a little violet. For subtle greenish tones, I mix a tiny amount of chromium oxide green into white, especially near the grass or in the shadows when needed. The cat may take 3 to 4 days to complete. I also used an airbrush to create the fine texture of the fur. For the eyes, use violet, chromium oxide green, yellow, and white. For the nose, use vermilion. Most importantly, make sure to check the proportions of the cat's face throughout the process. And that's it. Your painting is complete. I hope this painting wasn't too difficult for you. Good luck with your painting, and you'll find the full list of materials in the description.